The whole world is turning its eyes to the Middle East with the suffering that the Palestinians are enduring. However, just shift your focus a bit from this hotspot to the Red Sea, and we witness another disaster. And in terms of global impact, it is no less significant than the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Only 1 month after Hamas stormed across the Israeli border, rockets fired by the Houthis from Yemen have become a nightmare for commercial ships on their journey through the Suez Canal. This extremist organization is gradually establishing itself as one of the forces causing the world to reel. So today, let's join the World Explainer to find out where the Houthis come from and what their objectives are. Let's begin. Born from civil war. Throughout history, extremist forces have often been forged in the crucible of human hardship. War, with its inherent hatred, acts as the perfect catalyst for organizations that thrive on strength and hostility. The Houthis in Yemen are no exception to this narrative. During the Cold War, people often referred to 3 divided countries: Germany, Korea, and Vietnam. In fact, there was another country that was also divided: Yemen. However, Yemen is often placed in a different category from the other 3 due to its division that predates World War II and its unique circumstances. Before World War I, Yemen was already a divided land. The northern region was under the rule of the Ottoman Islamic Empire and was known as Yemen. The remaining territory, which covered much of the eastern part of the country, later called South Yemen, was under British control. The most important port on the Arabian Peninsula at that time, Aden, was a British colony, while the surrounding area was a British protectorate. In 1918, following the defeat and collapse of the Ottoman Empire, the North declared itself an independent kingdom, taking the name Yemen as we know it today. The South continued under British control. However, after World War II, a strong nationalist movement emerged in the South, leading to conflicts that prompted the British to consider withdrawal. Indeed, the British granted independence to this area in 1967. That same year, South Yemen joined the United Nations. Thus, from 1967, 2 separate states of Yemen emerged on Yemeni soil. The wound of division not only remained unhealed, but also festered further. Northern Yemen was half the size of the south, but had 4 times the population. Initially, the state of North Yemen was a monarchy supported by the British and Saudi Arabia. However, this government didn't last long as it faced an internal coup in 1962, aiming to seize power. This civil war occurred between the Republicans, supported by the Soviet Union, Egypt and Syria, and the monarchists, supported by Britain, the USA, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. The Republicans, backed strongly by Egypt, ultimately won the North Yemen Civil War, eliminating British and Saudi influence. The outcome was the establishment of the Yemen Arab Republic. Unlike the North, South Yemen adopted a secular and socialist path immediately after gaining independence from Britain. The Yemen Socialist Party, the dominant force, named the country the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen, making it the only recognized communist state in the Middle East. Consequently, it received substantial economic and military aid from the Soviet Union. In the 1980s, a significant event that altered relations between the 2 countries was the discovery of oil. However, the issue was that the discovered oil fields lay along the border of the 2 states, specifically in Marib province in the north and Shah province in the south. This discovery forced both states to choose between fighting for control over the oil or uniting to jointly exploit it. From 1988, relations between North and South Yemen improved rapidly. based on an agreement to jointly exploit the border oil fields. Leaders of the two countries, President Ali Abdullah Saleh of North Yemen and Secretary General Ali Salim al-Baid of South Yemen, met to prepare for reunification. With the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Eastern European Socialist Bloc, South Yemen virtually agreed to unconditional unification. The leader of a unified Yemen was the northern figure, the dictator Ali Abdullah Saleh. This period also marked the emergence of the Houthis. Essentially, they were a group within the royalist Zaydi tribe, following the Shiite sect. The Zaydis had led the north until the Republic, supported by Egypt, overthrew their rule. Now, they saw Saleh, the head of that regime, ruling the entire country. Unable to tolerate his corrupt governance, they rose up under the leadership of Hussein al-Houthi, forming the Houthi movement in 1994. Initially, the Houthis operated peacefully, particularly opposing Saleh's extreme corruption. Additionally, they criticized the support of Saudi Arabia and the USA for Saleh's regime. However, in 2003, everything changed dramatically. This year marked the beginning of the Iraq War, initiated by the USA. The Iraq War deeply radicalized the Houthi movement. When Hezbollah, the Shiite Islamic movement in Lebanon, successfully expelled Israeli forces from their land, they became an ideal model for the Houthis. Furthermore, Iran became a crucial supporter of the Houthis. Both the Houthis and Iranians shared a common concern over Saudi Arabia. Rising to power, Yemen sank deeper into poverty amidst the wealthy Middle East, despite sitting on vast oil reserves, while the dictator, Saleh, grew richer. This situation caused the public to increasingly support opposition forces, with the Houthis being a prominent example. With the help of Iran and the terrible corruption of Saleh's regime, the Houthis' influence grew steadily. Seeing the growing influence of the Houthis, the dictatorial government could no longer remain idle. Since 2003, General Saleh launched a series of military campaigns aimed at eliminating the Houthis. The Yemeni army and air force were mobilized to suppress the uprising in the northernmost regions of Yemen, especially in Saada province. Saudi Arabia joined Saleh in these campaigns. However, the Houthis won several clashes against the coalition forces. A major event occurred in 2004 when the Houthi leader, Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, was assassinated by the government. This led the organization to become increasingly radical, sparking uprisings over the next decade. The Arab Spring movement reached Yemen in 2011. The Houthis were part of the nationwide uprising against President Saleh. Vice President Abdrabbuh Mansour Hadi overthrew President Saleh in 2012. With regional and international support, a national dialogue was established to determine Yemen's future. However, the Houthis felt they were being treated unfairly, with the territorial divisions being inequitable. In early 2014, the Houthis took control of Saada province in northern Yemen. By May 2015, Saleh publicly allied with the Houthis, enabling them to seize the capital, Sana'a, forcing President Hadi into exile. Saleh and the Houthis formed a political council to manage the areas under their control. However, by the end of 2017, Saleh withdrew from the alliance with the Houthis and declared his support for Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and President Hadi, calling on his supporters to fight. The Houthis then defeated Saleh's forces and eventually killed the dictator, who had embezzled billions of dollars from the Middle Eastern nation. Up to now, the Houthis have almost entirely controlled most of Yemen. Saudi Arabia's attacks have barely affected the current situation in this small country. Holding near total control over the nation, the Houthis now set their sights on the Red Sea. The battle in the Red Sea. The shipping route in the Red Sea is one of the busiest in the world. It is a crucial part of the trade route connecting Asia and Europe via the Suez Canal. It can be said that this maritime route is among the most important in the world. However, for months now, commercial shipping has been increasingly disrupted due to missile and rocket attacks from the Houthis. Positioned opposite the Horn of Africa, Yemen can be considered the gateway to the Suez Canal. So why do the Houthis want to destroy such a vital artery? Looking back, we can see that the Houthis are backed by Iran. And of course, Iran doesn't support an external organization with money and weapons unconditionally. Iran's idea is to empower three extremist organizations, Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, to form a triangle against Israel. It is no coincidence that, as the conflict between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip escalated, so did the missile and rocket launches by the Houthis into the Red Sea. Since mid-November 2023, the Houthi forces have continuously conducted drone and missile attacks on international commercial vessels passing through the Red Sea, which they allege are connected to Israel. The Houthis' attacks have caused severe disruptions in the shipping route through the Red Sea. The Houthis claim their actions aim to pressure Israel to stop its offensive in Gaza. However, the Houthis have broader objectives. Besides defending Palestinians against Israel's attacks in Gaza, the Houthis seek to exploit the Red Sea attacks for their political and economic gains. It's also likely that these actions serve to bolster their international standing. Interestingly, despite controlling a backward and impoverished country, the Houthis possess quite a few advanced weapons. With assistance from Iran, the Houthis not only use UAVs, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles to target maritime targets, but they also launch missiles at Eilat in southern Israel. Although these missiles were intercepted, the attacks themselves demonstrate the formidable capabilities of the Houthi movement. These weapons are not all the Houthis have. They also possess a stockpile of long-range liquid-fueled missiles from Iran and North Korea. Despite their limited numbers and long transition times, these missiles have ranges of thousands of kilometers, posing a constant threat to Israel and U.S. military bases in the Middle East. Additionally, the hundreds of ground attack cruise missiles the Houthis possess are also very dangerous. With such an extensive arsenal, it is easy to imagine the Houthis having the capability to control and completely block the commercial shipping route connecting Europe and South Asia via the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. If the conflict continues to escalate, the question now is, when will this tragic saga come to an end? What do you think about today's video? If you have any opinions, let's discuss them in the comments section, as I always look forward to hearing from you. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.